everybody. I am here for day 15 of the Art Journal Advent for 2025. And today's prompt is Heartfelt. So let's see what we can do with that. I've got a number of pink products out here. I have some Distress ink pads. I have a Poppy, Wendy, Vicky, I think it's Vicky, Make Art stamp pad. I have a number of sprays from Delusions and Distress Spritz. So let's see what we can do. I've got a blending tool here, and on the back of my Distress ink pads, I have a piece of Velcro that holds the foam cushion. These are fairly inexpensive. You can get a whole bag full of them and use them to, make it easier for you. You can use one blending tool for many ink pads. So I'm going to just start by adding some color. Let's see what I can get here. I don't think I've used this pad, at least not the sponge. So we're gonna, and you can see how the Distress, maybe you can see it, how the Distress ink, watercolor ground, it works differently, and it gets in the creases and stuff. It's not like working on watercolor paper. So let's see what kind of colors, and we're gonna get a pattern here, which is kind of cool. Because of the way the watercolor ground is on the page. Okay, that's one. That was Sponge Sugar. This one is Kit Tech. What does that mean? Kit Tech Flamingo. Oh, yeah. I don't know what that is, but I can look it up. All right, so we're going to put some of this on there to see how, how different the color is. Some of these I've used, and some of them I have not used. This came in a set. Those 4 little Distress ink pads that came in a set on Amazon. Or you can get it from Ranger, from a number of places. It's a little bit different, not that much, but so that's 2 of them. This one is saltwater taffy. Oh, because if I put a sponge on there instead of, well, this one is really stuck down. Let me put the top back on it so I don't get it all over my hands. But I've already done it. Okay, there we go. Saltwater taffy. That one has kind of got an orange color to it. Okay. And here, this one is Festive Berries, which probably means it's going to be a little red. Oh, come on, Jane. This is probably going to be a lot darker. Let me pull this off. So I can get all the way to the end of the paper. Okay, so let's see if I want to use this Poppy one, and I'm not sure. Yeah, I do have a blending tool, that's good. This one's probably going to be red also. So we're going to put it on the edge. Move this over a page. Ends right there. You want to start on the edge, not in the middle, because you'll get the circle of your blending tool, which is not what you want. I don't think it's what you want anyway, but maybe it is. All right, now let's see. I could use a stencil. Hang on just a second. So sorry. Should have thought of that before I got started. So let's see. I don't know that I want to use all these colors. This is picked raspberry. This one is worn lipstick. This one is bubblegum pink. This one is cherry pie. And this one is barn door. Okay, so I've got, like I said, I've got spritzes and I've got Delusions ink. So we're going to use this picked raspberry. Use it in a couple of spaces. This one is worn lipstick. I don't think I want to use the cherry pie. I want to use this bubblegum pink though. That's much darker than the others. And then this one is barn door. I'm surprised they all sprayed. Okay, that looks pretty cool. Let's do something with this wet stencil so I won't waste the paint. All right, so let's dry this as soon as I find my heat tool. Well, I know it's here because it's plugged in. Let me see. Well, this is ridiculous. Here it is. Okay, so we're going to dry this. This has got a little creep over here on this, on the next page, so it doesn't matter. I'll just incorporate that into the design for tomorrow. I'll take a little bit of that. The glimmer is really pretty on these, like glimmer, shimmer, whichever. Okay, I think it's pretty dry. All right, so I have, I cut out a heart. Let's move this out of the way for a minute. I cut out a heart shape and I wrote out my Heartfelt. And so we don't want to put just a, book page on there by itself. So we're going to put some color on it as well. So let's see. Do I want to... Let's try putting this that circle kind of in the center and see what we can get. And I'm going to use this picked raspberry. I don't know why I want to say pickled. Maybe use a couple of them. I don't want to use the cherry pie because I think it's going to be way darker than everything else. This is worn lipstick. And then this one is vinyl. I don't think I used it, but I don't know what I've used. Okay, so now we're going to take this off. Hopefully. Putting it back on my paper so I can get the color. And now let's dry this. Hopefully I won't have so much trouble finding the heat tool this time. I don't know if you have watched any of my videos on the Scraps Diary. It's something that I do in connection with, that I saw Autumn Moon do, and I do it as well. And I take the papers the underpapers that I have, and I cut them into I think it's 1 1/4, maybe 1 1/4 inch squares that go into a small journal. And glued in as a 9 patch. And anyway, that's what I use these underpapers for. This was going to be a memory of the month of December, for my care December, and also for the art journal. If you haven't watched them, they're out there on YouTube. I was looking for a few that I had. Okay, so now this is all dry, I believe. And we're going to add this. We're just going to glue this to the page, and I'm going to use, can't decide here. I think I'm going to use, it definitely doesn't need to be extra heavy, but that's what's on my desk, so I'm going to use gel matte medium. And here's my little tool. I don't want to glue directly on the page. Although this does dry up clear, This would hold a lot. It would even hold metal objects. You know, if you had some metal trinkets or whatever, but this heavy gel. So it is way overkill, but it's what I had on my desk. All right, so let's put the top back on this and take the heart and put it down. It's not exactly centered. Okay, whoops. Let's pop it up. Let me just take a glue stick and take care of that. I didn't get enough on the edges. Okay. Now, I think I want it to stand out a little better, so I've got a Derwent Inktense pencil that I'm going to use. It's a watercolor pencil. I'm going to dip it in water and just outline this heart. Okay. Oh, you know, I didn't follow my outline there, so I'm going to have to do something about that. I thought I was following it, but it was the stencil. All right, let's just move this around so it blends in and doesn't. Okay. Now, I've got the word heartfelt that I'm going to put down here. And for that, I'm just going to use a glue stick. Kind of try to center it a bit. All right. Now, guess what we're going to do? We're going to do some splatters. Let's put this page, deli paper back under there, so hopefully it won't mess up the previous page. And I've got here's my white. My water's clean because I just filled it up. There's a good bit of liquid in here already, so let's see what we can do with that. I need to wet the brush. Okay, so let's rinse that off. And we're going to do some of my gold gouache that I found that was buried in my studio. I may have to put a little more out. Let's see what we can get. Not much. Okay, I have the tube out right here. It's an Artesia water gouache, and It's a pretty shade of gold. You get all kinds of different ones. Some of them have a pink cast, some of them are more like a bronze, although there is a bronze. I think I have a bronze. I don't want to not be able to tell what the letter is, so, okay. It's not good to leave your brushes in water, so I took that out. All right, we're going to dry this one more time. Oops. Not going to be good if I get paint all over the paper and then put it over there. You see how it's encroached a little bit. So today is day 15, and we're 24 days. And so we end on Christmas Eve. That'll be the last day for this. All right, so I'm going to put this back over here because that's the real page right there. Not what not the whole thing there, but that's where the page ends. So I'm going to put it right there, and there you have it. That's day 15, Heartfelt. Thanks for joining me, and I hope to see you again tomorrow.